It's another play day again. Now that I have this dedicated sausage stuffer, I want to play. I want to make sausages. And here's the thing. A friend of mine called me and told me that he found 3 different varieties of Italian sausage. One was spicy hot. You've seen those in the store before. One was mild that had just a little bit of spiciness to it. And the one that was made sweet had fresh basil in it and no spice at all other than salt and pepper, the usual things. Fennel, I guess they put ground fennel in Italian sausage. So I thought, what if I were to make Italian sausages from scratch, fresh? I bought some basil, bought that this morning. I'm keeping it in water to keep it fresh. And what if I were to grind into the meat also some sun-dried tomatoes? See what I mean about playing? This should be fun. So let's make these Italian sausages. I'm going to experiment today with more of these seasoning mixes for homemade sausages. This one is for sweet Italian sausages. I prepared more sausage meat. This is 2.5 pounds or 1.1 kilograms total weight. It's 2 pounds, 3 ounces or 1 kilogram of pork shoulder, and 5 ounces or about 140 grams of pork belly to increase the fat content for a more tender and more juicy sausage. This was in the freezer for about 30 minutes to partially freeze, so it passes through the meat grinder more easily. I also chilled the grinder. So, start the machine and grind the meat and fat. I'm using a medium grinding plate which is marked 5/8 millimeters. I'm not sure how much sun-dried tomatoes I'll need. I have 3 ounces or about 85 grams here. I might need to add more later. I'll grind these with the meat. All the meat is ground, but there is still some unground meat inside the grinder. So the trick is to put some ground meat into the hopper and use it to push the last of that meat through. Then any meat still in the grinder will be ground and ready to use. I don't know how much of this basil to use, so I'm going to pluck off enough leaves until it looks like enough. And this reminds me of my Italian grandmother when she taught my mother to cook. My mother would ask, "How much do you put in?" My grandmother, "Put in enough." "How much is enough?" "What do you mean, how much is enough?" "Enough is enough." I'm giving these a coarse chop because I want the pieces of basil to be visible in the sausages. There's the meat with the ground tomatoes. If that doesn't look like enough tomatoes, I'll chop up some more and add them. As usual, I'm putting on a rubber glove because I don't want to get this meat under my fingernails. Before I start massaging this meat, I need a small bowl. I have 5 teaspoons of that Italian sausage seasoning mix. I'm adding 2.5 fluid ounces, 74 milliliters of water. Mix well to combine and add it to the ground meat. Mix to distribute thoroughly. Looking at this ground meat, I don't see the sun-dried tomatoes. They blended in. So I'm going to chop up some more so that I have some larger pieces visible in my sausages. There are some additional sun-dried tomatoes. I gave them a medium chop. I'll blend these in. And now this looks better. I'm ready to sample this for flavor. I'll fry a small patty of this and taste it for seasoning. The filling tastes good, but I need to cover this and let it rest in the refrigerator for an hour or 2 to let the seasoning flavor the meat. I have my sausage stuffer attached to my counter, and I have a collagen casing ready to fill. I'm balling up some of this meat and pushing it down into the stuffer, and I'm using a tamper to force the air out. This stuffer should hold all this ground meat. I'm ready to start filling the casing. I like to pull off a little and tie it with a string Collagen casings don't hold as well as natural casings when twisted into links. I like the strings anyways. They make the sausages look more homemade. Fill the casing without bursting it. I'm getting the hang of using this device so I can work more quickly. Again, finish the sausage by tying it off with a string, then use another piece of string to start the next sausage. Cut between them, and there is one of my Italian sausages. Let's do another one. There are my sausages. I got 10. One is a little short. Some meat remains in the stuffer. You can use stale bread behind it to force the last of the meat out. I'm going to use this because sometimes I take the casing off a sausage, cook the meat, add some marinara sauce, and mix that with some cooked pasta. That's how I'll use this remaining meat. I cooked up that short sausage for myself, and what was the first thing that happened? As soon as I put it in the hot skillet, the casing burst because I forgot to do one thing. I forgot to prick the casings. I made a little sausage pricker for myself. This is with a old sewing needle and a piece of dowel, and you want to poke little holes. Not many of them, but enough so that when it cooks, the steam can get out without bursting the casing, because those collagen casings aren't very forgiving. But I've got enough here to taste. That's good. Nice texture. It's got a little bit more flavor than the Italian sausages I buy at Costco. A little on the salty side, but good, really delicious. So it's mid-afternoon. Excuse me, I'm going to go enjoy a mid-afternoon snack of my Italian sausage.